I never thought I'd be the one to say this on a public platform. But 3I Atlas has done something we cannot explain, and what it means for Earth may already be unfolding. Before we begin, I need you to do something for me. Comment your city name below, and tell me honestly, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky lately? Anything at all? NASA, along with several international space agencies, is quietly collecting data on anomalous sightings reported across the globe in the last 72 hours. Your observation, no matter how small, could be part of something much larger. So please comment below. Now then, what I'm about to share may change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. I've spent my entire life studying the cosmos, the fabric of space-time, the birth and death of stars, the mathematics that govern reality itself. I've peered into black holes, theorized about parallel universes, and stood at the edge of human knowledge more times than I can count. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what 3I Atlas has just done. Let me take you back when we first detected it. A faint smudge of light moving through the outer reaches of our solar system. At first, we thought it was just another comet, one of millions drifting silently through the void. We cataloged it. We named it 3I Atlas. The I stood for interstellar. Yes, interstellar, because this object didn't belong to our solar system. It came from somewhere else, somewhere out there, beyond the heliopause, beyond the Oort cloud, from the vast ocean of space between the stars. Now, interstellar objects aren't entirely new to us. We detected Oumuamua, that strange, elongated visitor that moved in ways we still don't fully understand. It accelerated as it left our solar system. Not from any propulsion we could see, but from forces we're still debating. Some said it was outgassing. Others whispered about something far more deliberate. Then came Borisov in 2019, another interstellar comet. More ordinary, more expected. We thought we were beginning to understand the pattern. Visitors from other star systems, rare but natural, predictable. 3I Atlas fit that pattern, or so we believed. For years, it drifted, silent, cold, following a trajectory that matched every model, every equation we threw at it. Astronomers tracked it, physicists calculated its composition. It was icy, ancient, a relic from another stellar nursery billions of miles away. We published papers, we moved on. After all, the universe is full of mysteries, and we can't spend all our time obsessing over a single comet. But then 3 weeks ago, something happened. 3I Atlas changed course, not gradually, not in the subtle way a comet might adjust its path due to gravitational influences or the solar wind. No, it changed behavior suddenly, decisively, and without any natural explanation. It decelerated first, slowing down in a manner inconsistent with any known astrophysical process. Then it altered its trajectory by nearly 11 degrees. 11 degrees. That might not sound like much to you, but in the language of celestial mechanics, that is catastrophic. That is impossible. Objects in space do not do this. They follow the laws of motion. They obey gravity. They do not, under any conventional understanding of physics, suddenly decide to change direction, unless something is controlling them. I was in my office at the City College of New York when I received the call. It was just after midnight. The voice on the other end was calm, but I could hear the tension beneath it. A colleague from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. He said 4 words I will never forget. "Mikio, we have a problem." He sent me the data. I sat there staring at my screen, watching the trajectory plot update in real time. The numbers didn't lie. The models didn't lie. 3I Atlas had done something no natural object should ever do, and it was still doing it. Even as I watched, the object was making micro adjustments, small burns, controlled maneuvers, like a spacecraft conducting a braking sequence. I felt my hands go cold. Now let me be clear, I am a scientist. I have built my career on skepticism, on evidence, on the rigorous application of the scientific method. I do not jump to conclusions. I do not indulge in speculation without data. But as I sat there, watching an interstellar object maneuver through space with what could only be described as intention, I realized something terrifying. We are no longer dealing with a comet. We are dealing with something that is watching us, something that is responding. Over the next 48 hours, observatories around the world were quietly redirected. Hubble, the James Webb Space Telescope, ground-based arrays in Chile, Hawaii, South Africa. Every instrument we had was pointed at 3I Atlas. We needed to know what we were looking at. We needed to know if this was a probe, a vessel, a message. What we found was even stranger. The object's surface began to emit a low-frequency electromagnetic signal. Faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there, a pulse, repeating every 1.8 seconds. Not random, not natural, structured, deliberate. The signal was in the X-ray spectrum, which meant it was being generated by something hot, something energized, something active. We tried to decode it. Linguists, mathematicians, computer scientists, cryptographers, everyone was brought in. The signal didn't match any known language, any known code, but it had patterns, nested patterns, recursive loops. It reminded me of something I had once theorized about, a universal mathematical language, the kind of language an advanced civilization might use to communicate with species like us, a language based not on words, but on the fundamental constants of the universe, pi, the golden ratio, prime numbers, and then the signal stopped, just like that. After 6 days of continuous transmission, 3I Atlas went silent. The maneuvers ceased. The object resumed what appeared to be a stable drift, but its new trajectory was different. It was no longer heading out of the solar system. It was heading inward, toward the ecliptic plane, toward the inner planets, toward Earth. That was 3 days ago. Now, I want to pause here for a moment because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, is this an invasion? Is this first contact? Should we be afraid? And the honest answer is, I don't know. None of us know. But what I can tell you is this: 3I Atlas is not alone. In the last 72 hours, we've detected 3 other objects exhibiting similar anomalies. One near Jupiter's orbit, another in the Kuiper belt, a third, faint and distant, near the heliopause. All of them showing signs of controlled movement, all of them emitting variations of the same signal. It's as if they're communicating with each other, coordinating, preparing. Preparing for what? I've spent my life studying the Drake equation, the Fermi paradox, the great filter. I've debated with colleagues about the odds of extraterrestrial intelligence, about whether we are alone, about what contact would look like if it ever happened. We always imagined it would be radio signals from distant stars, a message from Alpha Centauri, a beacon from Proxima. But what if contact doesn't come from out there? What if it comes from something that's been quietly passing through our solar system, watching, waiting, cataloging? What if 3I Atlas is not a probe sent to explore? What if it's a marker, a boundary stone, a warning? There's a theory in astrobiology called the zoo hypothesis. It suggests that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations are aware of us, but they choose not to make contact. They observe us the way we might observe animals in a wildlife preserve. We're not ready. We're not evolved enough. We're still too violent, too divided, too primitive. And so they wait, they watch, they let us grow. But what if the waiting is over? What if something has changed in the galaxy, something that requires them to act? What if 3I Atlas is the first sign that we are about to be invited into a much larger conversation, or worse, that we're about to be quarantined from it? I've spoken with colleagues in Tokyo, in Geneva, in Moscow. Everyone is seeing the same data. Everyone is asking the same questions. And no one, not NASA, not ESA, not any space agency on Earth, has a definitive answer. But there's a consensus forming, a quiet, unspoken understanding among those of us who have seen the numbers, who have run the models. This is not random. This is not natural. This is a response. A response to what, you ask? To us. Think about it. In the last century, humanity has exploded across the electromagnetic spectrum. We've filled space with radio waves, television signals, satellite transmissions, radar pulses. We've detonated atomic weapons. We've launched probes to the edge of the solar system. We've sent messages into the void, golden records, digital transmissions, deliberate attempts to say, we are here. And now it seems someone has heard us. 3I Atlas may be the reply. But here's what keeps me awake at night. It's not the object itself, it's not even the signal, it's the timing. Because when you map the trajectory of 3I Atlas backward, when you calculate where it came from, you find something astonishing. It originated from a region of space near the constellation Lyra, specifically near a star system called Vega. Vega is one of the brightest stars in the northern sky. It's 25 light years away. And here's the chilling part. 25 years ago, we sent one of the most powerful radio messages ever transmitted into space, aimed directly at Vega. It was part of the SETI project, a deliberate beacon, a greeting. If something received that message, and if something at Vega heard us and decided to respond, it would take 25 years for that response to reach us. 3. I-Atlas entered our solar system 25 years later. Coincidence? Perhaps. But as a physicist, I've learned that the universe rarely deals in coincidences. Now, I need to address something that many of you may already be feeling. Fear, uncertainty, the sense that the ground beneath our feet is no longer as stable as it once was. And I want to tell you, that's okay. That's human. Because what we're facing, what we're witnessing, is a threshold moment in the history of our species. We are no longer alone in the universe. We may never have been alone. And that realization, that profound shift in perspective, is terrifying. But it's also beautiful. For all of human history, we've looked up at the stars and wondered. We've built myths, religions, philosophies around the idea that we might not be the only ones. And now we're on the verge of knowing, of confirming, that somewhere out there in the cold vastness of space, there are others who think, who build, who communicate, others who have watched us, perhaps for a very long time. But with that knowledge comes responsibility, because if 3I Atlas is a message, if these objects are emissaries, then what we do next will define us. Will we respond with curiosity, with openness, or will we respond with fear, with aggression? There are factions within the government, within the scientific community, who believe we should remain silent, that we should not engage, that any response could be interpreted as a threat, or worse, an invitation. Others believe we must answer. That silence is cowardice. That if we are being addressed by an intelligence far greater than our own, the only honorable response is honesty. I find myself somewhere in between, because I've seen what humanity is capable of. I've seen our brilliance, our compassion, our capacity for wonder, but I've also seen our violence, our greed, our willingness to destroy each other over resources, over ideology, over nothing at all. And I wonder, if I were an advanced civilization observing Earth, would I make contact? Or would I wait a little longer? Would I place a marker, a boundary, a signal that says, not yet, you're not ready yet? Is that what 3I Atlas is? A cosmic do not disturb sign? Or is it an invitation? The truth is, we may not have a choice in the matter, because 3I Atlas is still moving, and its current trajectory suggests it will reach the orbit of Mars within the next 8 months. If it continues on this path, it will pass within visual range of Earth, close enough that we won't need telescopes to see it, close enough that every person on this planet will be able to look up and know without a doubt that something is out there. The governments of the world are preparing, not for war, at least not yet, but for revelation, for the moment when the public learns what we've known for weeks, that we are being visited, that we are being evaluated, and that whatever happens next, our world will never be the same. I've been asked by several officials to remain silent, to not speak publicly about this until there's a coordinated international response. But I believe you have a right to know, you have a right to prepare, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, for what's coming. Because this isn't just a scientific discovery. This is a transformation of consciousness. This is the moment when we stop being an isolated species on a single planet and become, whether we like it or not, part of a galactic community. And that community, I suspect, has rules, laws, ethics, structures we can't yet comprehend. We may be about to learn them. There's an old saying in physics, the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it is stranger than we can imagine. I've quoted that line 1,000 times in lectures, in books, and interviews, but I never truly understood it until now, because 3I Atlas is not just strange, it's a mirror. It's showing us that everything we thought we knew, everything we believed about our place in the cosmos was incomplete. We are not the pinnacle of evolution. We are not the masters of the universe. We are children, standing at the edge of a vast ocean, finally realizing that the ocean is not empty. So what do we do now? We listen, we learn, we evolve. Because that, I believe, is what they're waiting for. Not for us to have the perfect technology, not for us to be without conflict, but for us to be ready to grow, to take the next step in our cosmic journey. And maybe, just maybe, 3I Atlas is the first lesson. As I sit here tonight looking out at the stars, I can't help but feel a strange mix of emotions: awe, terror, excitement, sadness, because I know that the world we wake up to tomorrow will not be the world we fell asleep in yesterday. Something has shifted, something has begun, and we are all witnesses to it. I've been a physicist for over 5 decades. I've studied black holes that devour light. I've theorized about dimensions we cannot see. I've written equations that describe the birth of the universe itself. But none of it has moved me the way this has, because this is real. This is happening. And it's happening now. If you're watching this, if you've made it this far, then I ask you to do something. Look up tonight. Find the darkest place you can and just watch. Watch the sky. Watch for movement, for light, for anything that doesn't belong. Because we are no longer passive observers of the cosmos. We are participants. And the cosmos, it seems, is finally acknowledging us. Stay with this channel as we continue to decode the universe's final warnings. Because I believe, I know, that 3I Atlas is just the beginning. There are more objects out there, more signals, more messages, and if we're going to survive what comes next, we need to understand them. We need to be ready. So I'll leave you with this question, the question that haunts me every night as I close my eyes. If 3I Atlas is a message, and the message is that we are not alone, then who sent it? And what do they want from us? Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you've seen anything. Because this is no longer just a scientific inquiry. This is a human moment. And we're all in it together. The universe is speaking. The only question left is, and are we ready to listen to